Welcome to The Localist, a podcast for small business owners where we talk about the highs and lows of building community through entrepreneurship. I'm your host, author of the Localist book, and small business consultant, Carrie Rollwagen. The Localist is sponsored by Infomedia, a Birmingham-based web and digital strategy company where I work as senior vice president. At Infomedia, we believe small businesses deserve big results online. Today, we're talking with Bert Davis, who is co-owner along with Peter Solis of DaySol Coffee. That's where the name comes from, Davis and Solis, by the way. As you'll hear today, DaySol started in Bert's backyard when he lived in Colorado. They've had a few locations now. They're currently part of Bluff Park Coffee Collective, and they just opened up a roastery actually almost across the street from Infomedia, which is where I work. It is on 3rd Avenue South. If you're familiar where the old Ghost Train was or Uproot Brewing was, they've taken over that space, which is really exciting to me because I love to see a new coffee shop, especially when it's across the street from me. So Bert and I cover a lot in this episode. We talk about working with business partners. We talk about how if you let it, a small business can kind of suck up all of the air in your life, and how it's important to nurture the friendships that you have and to really nurture your own interests and hobbies outside of the business as well. We also talk about how to know when to expand and how to know when to leap, even when you don't have all of the information available. If you are already a small business owner, I think you'll find a lot to relate to in this episode. And if you are somebody who has a hobby or a passion that you're wanting to develop into a business, I think Bert really gives a clear blueprint for how to do that successfully. We cover everything from the notes and flavors of our favorite coffees to how difficult it is to manage a build out. So I really hope you enjoy this episode. Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks. Yeah.
I feel like I kind of manifested your space because it's right across the street basically from our office.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really lucky now to have another coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
But that probably is not how you feel about it. You probably are feeling like it's a very long journey.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess maybe let's start. Maybe let it start from more of the beginning and chronologically just talk about like how did you get into coffee? How'd you go from I drink coffee to I'm going to get into the roasting game because that's a lot.
Yeah. So I lived in Colorado for 11 years and I was like a casual coffee drinker out there. It was a utility type thing. I visited the Starbucks and got your sugary drink from time to time, but most of it was, I didn't know a lot about the specialty side. And then our kids, coffee in Denver was pretty big. Like breweries were pretty big out there. So there was a coffee shop across the street from our kids' school, and they roasted their own. And I started going in there, and I noticed a difference. So I was curious. They also sold bags of green coffee beans that you could buy.
Okay.
Like a pound of it.
To like
and I didn't even know what that meant.
Yeah.
So I started talking to them. They showed me around. They had these little countertop roasters that they also sold. So I got one of those as a present for my birthday one year.
Yeah.
And that kind of sent me down the rabbit hole of YouTube videos and what is coffee roasting and how does all this, the science behind it and stuff like that. So, and I had a science background, medical background. So it really intrigued me a lot. So that's kind of how I got into it. Then the next thing I know, I'm roasting in my backyard and selling to my coworkers. And when we went to move here to Alabama in 2019, a good friend of mine, Peter, who's my business partner, Peter Solis, he said, "Hey, are you going to continue this in Alabama? Because if you are, I'd like to invest in it and be a part of it." So we moved out here, and soon we were in a garage in Woodlawn, like in the corner of a garage in Woodlawn.
It's a classic Birmingham business
exactly.
story.
From there, we're like, all right, if we're going to be legitimate, we need a actual storefront space or something. So then we had a space in Old Town Helena, which was a small little space. We started out roasting in that space as well as having a shop. We moved the roaster into a larger warehouse eventually. And then in 2.5 years ago, Bluff Park Coffee Collective became an opportunity to partner with a neighborhood bakery there that we were friends with. And and start that. So we moved all of our operations into that building. And then we were roasting in a warehouse still.
So that's already a lot of moves.
Yes, that's a bunch of moves. Yeah, correct. Yep.
To Woodlawn, garage at Woodlawn, to Helena to Bluff Park. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, has that been exhausting? Because especially with coffee, I mean, roasting as temperature dependent as like an espresso machine is? I feel like the espresso machines you're having to dial in constantly.
Yeah, I always look at the roasting and the brewing, the baristas. It's really two different disciplines.
Right.
Your roasting of the coffee is it's a whole nother science. There's some correlation, but there's no water involved in the roasting process, but there is in the brewing process. So they're both really important, but kind of dependent on each other, but also totally different from each other. So it is two different disciplines that you have to learn through the process of it, and it's kind of trying to think of a comparison in the food world because I like comparisons, but it definitely is, and it has been exhausting, but I think that if I had started out where I am right now or tried to from the beginning, I probably would not be here.
Yeah.
And then a lot of that's just because I learned the business part of it in little small segments rather than just a fire hose of information all at once.
Yeah. So. Which I mean, personally, it does feel like if I had known what I was getting into, would I have done it? I don't know. But,
totally. Yeah. Totally.
Well, when you were first roasting, I guess describe like what you're going for, like the character of your coffee and kind of the things that you found interesting about that.
Yeah. So what turned me off a lot from your big box coffee places was the dark, burnt, roasted. And a lot of that was just getting buried in sugar because the coffee didn't really taste that good. And I wanted to stay away from that. So as I started to learn more, I started to learn about the flavor characteristics of coffee and roasting to different levels to bring out those flavor characteristics. So everything I do, most of it's a medium roast. I do a couple light roasts, but most of it's medium and none of it's dark roasted.
I think Starbucks, I think, goes for a darker roast because it's consistent. Like, you can always, like, if you burn it, you can always burn it.
Yeah.
Which it's cool to like Starbucks too. It's fine. But, like,
some of that, too, is in the quality of what you're buying to begin with.
Yeah.
And some of that is, it's... And I totally understand because coffee is definitely a numbers game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a volume and it's pinching pennies and, the profit margins are not enormous. So.
But it is fun when you can kind of like do a lighter roast or a medium roast. Just so for people listening, you can kind of like taste those flavors more than if you burned anything, you wouldn't really get the flavor of that.
That's right.
So,
yeah. I'm working with a coffee right now that I want to eventually have maybe on a pour over, but it's got notes of strawberry. And it's like, I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's not like maybe that tastes like strawberries. It's not like a wine that it's like, peppery notes, sure. But no, it is like I smell strawberries, I taste strawberries. It's wild.
Really cool when people do that. Like, we used to get an Ethiopia at my old shop a lot that was very blueberry forward, and almost to the point that it would distract people. Like if you didn't know what you were tasting, so we would actually serve little blueberry muffin samples with it, because then you're like, oh, your brain is like, oh, it's blueberry.
You're
like
not
this
shocked.
is really cool.
Ethiopian's probably some of my favorites for that reason, because you can get such wild differences, and they're really fruity or floral most of the time. So so is it just it sounds like you're kind of like, it is really fun for you to figure out like what notes can we bring out from that coffee. And that's what, even I would guess in the backyard, that's kind of what you were doing. Funny story on the backyard is the reason Peter and I got connected is because in October, I was roasting literally in my open backyard in Colorado, and it was going to snow. And I was like, what am I going to do here? And Peter's like, well, you can use my garage at my house. So I started going over there, and we would sit around and roast and talk about coffee, because I didn't want to get snowed on in my backyard.
Well, that is really cool. When you were doing it in the backyard, Did you have it, like, what did you call it? Did you have a name?
No,
Were you
I was
bagging
just
it,
no,
or
it was just
okay.
just selling to friends and family,
Yeah,
and
just Bert's
yeah,
Coffee.
yeah, just learning it and having fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Uh,
So that's kind of like he fell in love with it too because you were in the
yeah.
garage talking
I
about
think
it.
he
Yeah.
fell in love with maybe my passion about it.
Yeah.
And I think he says, I think I might have this written up on the website or whatever, but he didn't even really care about coffee until we started getting together and having, coffee together, roasting together, and I was teaching him about talking about it, things like that. He's like, oh wow, there really is a difference.
Yeah.
And I can see your passion in it. So
Which is, I mean, I don't want to get too, I don't know, whatever about this, but I think that's one of the coolest things about coffee is like the community that kind of builds around
Sure.
it. Because, you meet up for coffee, you have, like, there is a lot of community involved in it. So I don't think that it's maybe unusual to say we're going to be business partners and send somebody to Alabama and start a thing. But, but it's not unusual to like have friendships that develop
That's
over
right.
coffee.
Yeah.
So, and that is an interesting, kind of maybe tell me a little about your partnership as business owners, because I do think that's cool and a little unusual to be like, okay, you're taking this away, but now I'm going to help. Now I'm going to put some money behind it. Like,
yeah, totally. Yeah. So when we started out, let's see, 2019 is when I moved here, and there was a little bit like of a startup investment. And I think at that point, we didn't really even know what we needed.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really even know where we were going or what we didn't have a space,
Were you moving for your jobs or family?
Family, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And I mean, it became commonplace for beans to just be piled up in my living room or somewhere in the house, and shipments are coming to my house for different things. So when we started, we didn't really know what kind of investment, what is this even going to look like, and so Peter and I were we both had regular jobs, and we were both like putting $100 out of our paycheck every week, every 2 weeks to just kind of keep putting money into it. We were like, we don't know where this is going. We don't really know what we're doing, but we see something here. And so with him being there and me being here, there was a lot, especially in the early days, we talked about every day.
Yeah.
Every decision was really, micromanaged and kind of funneled through both of us. And I think that was important that it had to be that way. But as we've grown, kind of not only trust has grown, but systems have grown.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, business-wise, we talk once every month or two.
Yeah.
We're not, there's not a lot, or if there's a major decision or something like that. Like when we made this move over here to downtown, we talked a lot through that process.
Yeah.
Well, we've tried to be like, all right, let's be friends still now. Like, because it's hard when you're friends with
For sure.
when you're business partners with a friend.
Yeah.
Kind of like when your spouse is involved in helping us, that starts to be all you talk about. And you're like, okay, we have a relationship outside of this. So try to be careful about that.
Yeah.
And he tries to come out, once, twice, a few times a year to visit. And
that's cool.
So we've kind of developed it as the business has matured, where it's less dependent on that like constant communication.
Yeah.
So,
well, I do want to ask. Well, okay, I want to ask two things. One I just thought was cool what you said about systems and trust, because I actually think when you start to build a business, like, systems like allow you to trust, if that makes sense. Like, it's like whose lane is what, and but kind of how have you like kept up the friendship side? Is it like we also like books or sports and we talk about that?
We're also runners.
Okay.
So he's a lot younger than me, but he also runs more than I do now at this time in my life. But that was kind of one of the things that formed us, a friendship in the beginning too, is we both like to run. Yeah. So
no, I think that is really helpful. Like, I mean, a little bit similar, like we talked about a little bit before, but my husband owns a business and actually also works for Infomedia. So it is really hard to not to get out of that. Like, what are we?
Well, and I think too, for like my wife, she's not a business partner, but she's my wife. So, and she works and helps out and does, I mean, when you own a business, anybody that's willing to volunteer is volunteering. So she volunteers for the business. So and a lot of your ideas get bounced. Whereas if I had a regular job, I'd probably clock in, clock out.
Right.
We may talk a little bit, but at the end of the day, I'm going to go home and not think about my job.
Yeah.
But when you own the business, it's 24/7.
Yeah.
So having to be able to, over time, learn to that, like, I have to disconnect at a certain time every day, because if I don't, this business will needs me. It's like a baby, you know. It could need you 24/7 if you allow it to do that.
I love that. I mean, I totally agree. So do you have kind of like a time you try to clock out, or is it just like by dinner I try to whatever? I
try, and the day is dependent upon whether I stick to it or not.
Well, I think there are seasons too. I mean, like, you just got a new space, so it's probably. I do think there are like months that it's kind of like, okay, this is our thing. So.
Yeah, and we're in a big growth phase right now. So we not only would you get a new space, but we've also got we've got several new staff members coming in that we're trying to train everybody. So we're, in a sense, short-staffed until we get them trained. Yeah. So I'm pulling a lot of hours behind the bar and stuff like that until we get all those. So when I'm behind the bar, I can't do a lot of the business stuff. That ends up spilling over into the afternoons and evenings. And, but it's a season.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to figure out like where we were in the story. So you guys came down here. How was it? Kind of tell me about the space in Old Town Helena and like what that area is like for people who haven't been there, and how that went for you.
It's a really cool area. It looks like it comes out of a Hallmark movie. Yeah. If you haven't been there, we were in a small. It used to be. It was a building that was there. I mean, it's been there for years and years and years. But it used to be like in the early founding days of Helena, it was like not a department store. It was called Ruffin Brothers. Okay. And they sold everything from hats to shoes to coffins to anything that people could need, you know. Yeah. So, but over the years, it had been a dentist office and a law office. So it had all these little chopped up rooms in it. And it was small. So what we did was we made all those rooms like individual seating rooms. So you could go and sit kind of privately by yourself in a quiet room if you wanted to. And it was a good phase for us. I think it allowed us to, we didn't have the volume of business there that we see in Bluff Park or we see downtown, but it helped us to, on a micro scale, kind of learn some of the systems in our business and things that worked and didn't work.
Yeah. Well, and was it, I guess I was going to say, is it different in Alabama, but you didn't have a shop in Colorado, so obviously it's different. Yeah. When did you start wholesaling? Is that a big part of your business? Because I know you're in the pig, is that right?
Yes, so not long, once we had like a legitimate space here where we were certified and all that, that's when we reached out to the Piggly Wiggly stores and got in there, and that was so like one of my first jobs growing up was in the Piggly Wiggly when I was in high school. So it's like, oh, I'm in the Piggly Wiggly now. That's kind of cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
But it's
also it's somewhere that other people know about too. Like
it kind of legitimizes you to a little bit. Like, oh, I'm in the Piggly Wigglies. Okay. Yeah. But it allowed us to get in front of a lot of people that we wouldn't normally have without a storefront and things like that, where we could reach downtown Birmingham, because we're in Claremont and Crestline and places like that people wouldn't know about us being in Helena.
Yeah. So you did that pretty early on while you were still in Helena. Yeah.
And it provided some much needed funds to kind of make it where Peter and I didn't have to pull out of our bank account, like pull out of our direct deposits from work every week. And so.
Well, what is that like? Is it just like we're already doing the bags and you just do? I mean, I know Piggly Wiggly does a lot of like local suppliers.
Yep.
But is it just kind of like I bring them in a van and give them a box, or is it that you need to? Did you have to promote to get people to understand it, or was it just kind of like it's on the shelf and they're gonna try it?
So the way they kind of work is you meet with them. Piggly Wigglies are independently owned, which is something that's really cool about them and unique. And in our area, there's a couple families that kind of own multiple locations. So I met with the main kind of a manager who manages most of them in Birmingham, and we went through and he looked at our product. We talked about it, kind of talked about what we wanted to do, our costs, what they could pay for it and all that stuff. Came to an agreement on it. And then I keep up with inventory, and I carry them in there and put them physically on the shelves.
Okay.
They don't do any of the restocking on it, and that's the case for most of the small local places. And then from there, letting people know we haven't done a ton of, other than our own social media, we haven't done a ton of like external advertising. We ran some promotions through them of like, this is the Labor Day sale, here's a sale on this coffee bag, stuff like that.
Well, I do think for coffee, I mean, like we ran into Clay, who works here in the lobby, and he had been saying like he tried it. I think the first time he tried it, I think he might have seen it on the shelf. But it does make sense that is something that you're buying coffee, you see a new brand, you're like, well, it's somewhat vetted because it's here.
Yeah.
I might as well.
It's a great entry point for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had Helena, and then how did the Bluff Park Collective kind of tell people what that is, like your partnership with
So when we were in Helena and we had our shop there, it was right after the pandemic. During the pandemic, one of our neighbors, Ramsey Nuss, she had started Good Neighbor Baking, and it was sort of brought out by the pandemic, and I won't say too much because I may butcher it, the story of it, but she'd kind of started as a way to do baked goods for her neighbors and things for her neighbors, and she does custom cakes and things like that. So she had been kind of running it sort of out of her home and was ready to expand. We knew that we needed to probably move out of Helena. I wanted to be somewhere. I live in Bluff Park, so I wanted to be somewhere close. We were both neighbors, so we got together and kind of talked about this space. It was Joyful Food Company was there before us, and they were looking to leave. And so we went and looked at the space. It had a bakery set up in there. We would need to outfit it to have a coffee bar, but we felt like, hey, this is an opportunity for us to provide a really good quality shop that has great baked goods, great coffee in the neighborhood that we live in. It's a mile from, it's really close to both of us.
Yeah.
Which makes it easier to manage.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a next step for both of us.
I mean, having a space that's built out for even part of the business is really nice.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And a bakery to a coffee shop is not as big of a lift as a retail store to a coffee shop.
Yeah. So it wasn't terrible.
I feel like as long as it's getting water, I feel like that's a lot of
and all your like health department stuff was already there. The 3 compartment sinks and things like that they require, that was already there. So that was big. And when we started it, the day grand opening that we opened it, we were like, okay, well, this worked, because there was a line like down the street. I think we did like 500 drinks that day in this small, because it's not a big shop. It's a really small shop, and people would just have poured in, and the community has just been super supportive of it.
Well, it's also nice, I mean, because you guys live there too. I feel like sometimes it is important to respond to the space, like the area where you are, which I think, I mean, from the reviews I read, I think you also did in Helena. Like, you didn't live there, but it sounded like you were responding to like what that area needed.
Yes.
And I think that's something that I think most small businesses do well, but you have a lot of businesses that'll come in, maybe they have a place in Nashville or Atlanta or something, and they kind of just like copy and paste it. And a lot of times those don't work. Because I do think responding to the neighborhood is important.
Yeah, every community. I mean, that's why you'll see our shop in Bluff Park is much different than our shop downtown. Some of the menu, I mean, the menu doesn't vary that much. There's some consistency for customer sake, but it's a different feel and a different vibe and a different, because they're different communities.
Yeah, definitely. So what were, and honestly, like, because then you almost have another business partner, I guess, because do you own the collective to, like,
we just own our individual businesses, because we were trying, when we opened that space, we were like, well, we don't want it to be called DaySol and Good, like, we got to have something that
cohesive
and is easy to remember and provides a community type feel. So that's why we came up with this collective idea. And then it being in Bluff Park, so we're like, why don't we call it this? It will really, the brand that we really want to push are our individual brands. We're here to support our own individual brands, but this gives it more of I always tell people it's kind of like if you think about Pizzit's Food Hall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that's just the space.
Right, yeah.
And you have all these individual businesses in there that are doing their own individual things.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we looked at it. This is a space with two businesses in it.
Which I think that makes sense too. I mean, I think a lot of people try to put the businesses together, and that can get really messy. Like sometimes it's less pressure to just be like, we're doing our own like business decisions we're keeping separate.
Now, I will say we've had to work really hard to like do a lot of customer education that we are two separate businesses. We, moving downtown, it's, hey, that's Bluff Park Coffee Collective. Yeah. This is DaySol Coffee downtown. Right. So, because I think some people have thought that it's exactly the same, but it's not exactly the same.
I mean, and your pastries downtown are from Bandit, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so there are obviously differences there. But I think doing what you did and setting up the collective allows you to do that also. Yeah. And I would assume allows the bakery to do that as well, which is nice for both of you to still have that kind of flexibility.
And we both kind of share the financial responsibility too of it. It allows us to not drown in rent and things like that.
Now, in that space, do you share staff, or do you have separate?
We have separate staff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you always have somebody baking, serving pastry, or is it just that the baristas also ring up the pastries? Or
so our staff is the front of the house, and their staff is the back of the house.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then we just kept it separate like that. It's a lot cleaner.
Yeah, which is similar to, I mean, kind of what you're doing downtown, in that you get pastries from Bandit.
Yeah.
They're not baking in your space, I don't imagine.
Right.
Yeah. So that makes sense, and that kind of sets you up with that system for future projects too. So how long was Bluff Park Coffee Collective there before were you always looking for another space, or did you feel like you kind of outgrew it as far as a roastery?
So Bluff Park Coffee has been 2.5 years that we've been open. I still had a roasting space in a warehouse in Pelham that I was roasting out, but it was just a warehouse and no retail side to it. Our lease was ending there, so we were looking to make a move. And ironically, ever since I moved to Birmingham, I'd always gone to Pepper Place. I'd always driven by Ghost Train and thought that is a really cool building.
Yeah.
I would love to, because in my time in Colorado, breweries were big out there. I loved brewery tours. I loved that like warehouse feel where you were kind of part of the whole process. There's a roaster out there called Sweet Bloom that's pretty well known. And I got to know them well, and their space was very much set up in this, like, you could sit at the bar and drink your coffee and you could see them roasting and packaging and doing the whole process. Yeah. So I'd always had like, that'd be a cool building to do something like that. Yeah. Never did I ever imagine that I'd actually be in the building. Yeah. Never. I wasn't like seeking after it. All these years I've been following that space, but I saw the brewery that was Uproot that was in there posted that they were closing. Yeah. And about the same time, I knew that we were going to need to leave our warehouse in Pelham. So I'm like, I wonder. So I messaged them. I got the kind of layout of the space, the costs and all that stuff. And I was like, that's doable. Yeah. Let me go look at the space. So I came and looked at the space, and it was like, I mean, sinks were where I needed them to be. The bar was built. Yeah. The place where I need a gas line and an exhaust venting for my roaster, it was exactly where I needed it to be.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like everything was like, I need to clean up in here, and I need to do aesthetic work, and I need to make it my own space. But I don't have to do a lot of the really expensive work.
Which that is so huge. And I think if you've done a build out, you know that, which you had.
I mean, if you've priced out flooring in your house, you realize that, wow, that's no, multiply that times a lot, and that's what you have to deal with in a commercial space.
I do think this kind of echoes, so my husband owns a jiu-jitsu gym, and we outgrew our space in a couple of years, like a similar timeline. And when we did our new build out, I was like, this is the worst time to do it's a good time for customers to see that you growing. It was the worst time for us because I'm like, we haven't forgotten how bad the first build out was. So I feel like you're in a similar situation. You're just done Bluff Park.
I forget quick
like,
though.
Yeah.
My wife will tell you. I'm like, wow, after this one, she's like, you have said that before. And I'm like, I don't know what else. I mean, this space over here is so big and can do so many different things that I'm like, I don't know what else I could ask. I mean, I don't know what else I could ask for.
Well,
everything's here, you know?
And I think that's important too, to be able to leap when you see like, okay, this is 70% of what I want. I'm probably not going to find that. I think one thing I think is tough owning a business is that you almost never get 100% of the information and you just have to do it anyway.
Yep. I mean, when we looked at, my wife and I came and looked at it before I had signed anything, and I just said, hey, I went and looked at the space. I feel good about it, but I need you to come and make sure I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
And she looked at it and said, yes, you're crazy, but I do believe that this might be the right decision. Yeah. Because this is kind of exactly what we need.
Yeah. Well, other than, I mean, some of that stuff was exactly where you wanted it. How did you go about kind of making it feel like your space, like you mentioned?
So we did all the work in there. I had plumbers and an electrician come in and do some like general cleanup stuff, but 90% of the work in there I did myself. And none of that was structural or anything like that, but like painting and aesthetics and things like that. So Matthew is a guy that works for me. He's a UAB grad. He's a design and sculpture grad. Cool. He does all of our graphic stuff, and he has an eye for design and stuff like that. So I told him early on that, like, hey, this is your space.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Clear everything with me. Make sure, hey, we can afford it. Two, that it's not so far out there that I'm not like, no. But he did a lot of that of like, hey, I'd like to do this. I like this color. What do you think about it? Stuff like that. So just really making it our own, moving some things around. And if you go, you'll feel like, well, this does feel like the breweries that have been here, but not.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
No, I think it has a different character for sure. And it probably doesn't feel this way to you, but it seems like you turned it over pretty quickly.
3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
Very fast.
Yeah, that's really quick. Well, and it's because that was the other thing. Once you sign a lease on a space, the financial clock is ticking. You're paying. Yeah. And you're not making any money.
Yeah.
You're actually spending money, a lot of it. So you're like, all right, I've got to get this space open as quick as I can.
We were seeing it like out the windows. We're like, oh, they painted a new sign. They painted the building. Which looks really cool. Like if you've been over here, you probably saw like, I think Ghost Train had it painted and Uproot had it painted, and then you guys had to paint over it anyway. So you did you do a new sign because you had to, or just because you're like, this works?
Well, we knew we needed to paint over. You mean the logo, the mural on side? We knew we needed to paint over the old ones that were up there. Yeah. And then we're gonna have a black building, which was fine. But we're like, we need something that when people are passing by, it really stands out. Yeah. So that logo or that mural that you see on the side there is that's a design that Matthew did. Yeah. I'm a huge Bigfoot fan. Yeah. I randomly just and I, at some point a few years ago, we did like a special random blend, and I was like, I want Bigfoot on this blend. Yeah. So he became this like character that like we have now snuck into our brand. And if you look at our Wanderlust, which is our most popular blend, it's our espresso. We use it for cold brew and everything. If you look at the labels on there, there's a Bigfoot. Like it's like a forest scene on there, and there's a little Bigfoot hidden in there.
I love that.
So he's kind of made his presence.
Yeah. It's fun when you have that character. Like I think Mr. G's Pizza has Mr. Pep. It's like a little anthropomorphized pepperoni. Yep. I think you can get like free pizza for life if you get a tattoo, but I'm not that.
That's pretty funny.
Dedicated.
The funny thing is so that the way that kind of got designed was we were going to put it on this special blend we did. So we had these plain craft colored bags, and we were just going to stamp the Bigfoot on there. Yeah. So Matthew got a I don't know that I'm going to butcher this from an artist standpoint, but he got a big piece of rubber basically, and he carved that into the rubber.
Yeah.
You dip it in the ink and then you stamp it on there.
Yeah.
So that Bigfoot was originally just carved on a big piece of rubber.
Yeah.
Like hand carved,
awesome.
hand designed, like he did it all, like just totally.
We actually had a printer on Little Red Print Shop on the podcast, and she that's how she prints stuff.
Yeah, that's I don't have that.
Yeah. Me either.
I have these ideas in my head, but I don't know how to actually make them happen. So
it's cool. I mean, being able to, so did Matthew start as a barista with you, or?
He started as anything that you will be willing to do. So he started in Helena, and we brought him on, and we were like, we don't really know what we can pay you.
Yeah.
And we don't really know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, that sounds good. So he originally came in to do some design work for us. And then we're like, do you also want to do barista work? And I remember him doing his first few latte art things, and he was like, I'm never going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Now he's probably one of the best latte artists we have on staff. So, that's kind of how it all came. And he's good because I have the ideas, but I don't know how to make them happen. And he knows how to, we have the same visions too, I think, of things. So I'm able to give my vision to him and him make it what I already had in my head. But just didn't know how to put it out there.
It's really cool. I feel like those things are kind of magical when you find somebody you can work with like that, that you're just like, okay, they get it. And it does sound like you put trust in him also, like even saying, this is your space. Yes, I'm going to sign off or not. But I think that's difficult for a lot of small businesses. They want to kind of micromanage everything. And I think when you are trying to micromanage things like interior design, it can go sideways pretty fast.
Yep. And I tried. I mean, I will say it took me a while to get to the point where I would start to let things go. Because in the beginning, I definitely did not want. Yeah. I could have easily been this. I was one person doing everything.
Yeah.
And everything I let go of was kind of like ripping off a Band-Aid.
Yes. No, I agree.
But
I mean, it's cool. It is always a balance because sometimes you let go of something, like figuring out what can I let go of and it's not going to crash and burn. What will crash and burn if I let go of it? But this is a different business. But I was talking to one of my managers and they were like, well, I feel like when I'm in the meeting, I do it like 100% and they can't do it 100%. And I was kind of like, look, if that person can do it 70%, they get to do it. They'll get to 100%. They'll never get there if you don't let them do it. Now, if they're doing it 30%, maybe it's not time for you to,
And I have this thing too where like I believe that I can probably do just about anything, which is a very big curse.
But it's helpful as a business owner.
It's helpful.
You know? Yeah.
I do it at home. I do it everywhere. Of like, and in a lot of ways too, I'm like when I'll pay somebody to come in and do a pretty simple task at my house, and I'm like, I could have done better than that.
Yeah.
And I paid you to do that. But
you
know, you do have to let go and like, but I saved my time.
Yeah.
You know, the last couple of years I've paid a teenager to cut my grass. You know, could I do a better job? Yeah, probably. Did I not have to cut my grass for 2 hours on a Saturday when I was doing something else more important? Yes.
Yeah.
So kind of weigh in those two things.
And I just think that's a constant battle when you're running a business to figure out what are these things that are important enough either to the business or to me, like creatively, that I need to hang on to them, and when can I let go?
And that spills over into like hobbies and stuff too. I think like there's some hobbies I've had to let go of. There's some that I'm like, I don't want to I need that. You know.
Well, it's like you said, keeping your friendships up. It's like also keeping yourself up as a person. I think that it is hard to lose that when you're running a business.
You get defined by the business.
You know,
you start to define yourself by the business. And that's all I am. I'm the DaySol guy. You know?
I mean, when I sold Church Street, I was talking to my mom at some point, and she was like, well, you know, that's not your whole community. Those were your customers. And at first I was like, well, you're wrong. And there is crossover for sure. Like some of those customers work my community, that there is community there. But it is important, I think, to have friendships and to develop things about yourself that are not just like,
totally.
Yeah, so I think that is very smart to be doing. Yeah.
Trying to do. Yeah.
Well, tell everybody about like opening day and
Yeah.
how it's been going.
Yeah.
Because when you opened not too terribly long ago.
Yeah, this past Saturday was a month. So we
Okay.
opened on January the 17th.
Mm-hmm.
My birthday was on the 18th, and I'm like, we're gonna be open before my birthday.
Yeah.
So we were.
Yeah.
No, grand opening was amazing. We didn't really know. People are always like, was it what you expected? I'm like, you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, what is my expectation? I don't
Yeah.
know. If nobody showed up, I'd be like, well, I expected that, I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But we had, I think we had a bluegrass band that was playing, which was really cool.
Yeah.
We wanted to make it an event. We sold out of pastries by probably 9:30.
Yeah.
We had a good 500 plus people in the building.
Yeah.
There were lots and lots of people that came by and said, hey, I just wanted to come and support you, but I can't wait in line.
Yeah.
Just wanted to say hi. We'll come back next week. And they have. And because I think at one point, and we had plenty of staff. We had plenty of skilled, trained people. It was an hour and a half wait to order and then a 30-minute ticket time.
One espresso machine.
Yeah. It's a big one, but you can only...
Yeah, and you don't buy 3 to service your opening day and then you're set.
And everybody was understanding, but it was... That's how busy we were. We were like, wow, okay, well, that worked.
Yeah.
And we've stayed busy since. Saturdays have definitely been our biggest day.
Yeah.
Probably a third of our business has been on Saturday.
Because most people in Birmingham know this, but you're walkable from Pepper Place Market for sure. So I'm guessing it's spillover from the market.
There's been some, I think there's... Pepper Place is just starting, so it'll be interesting to see this summer when it's full force.
Yeah.
And then as people start to find out that we're actually we're actually over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and so that's good that it's kind of developing its own Saturday traffic too. So how is the character? Do you see a lot of crossover in the Bluff Park store and this store? Like, is it the same customers, or are you developing your own customer base?
A little bit of both.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we definitely are seeing some Bluff Park customers that are like, hey, I work down here, so I'm gonna come here some mornings, or I'm gonna grab here and then I'll get my coffee on the way home. Because some people, a lot of people are morning and afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
So
people always apologize for that. As a coffee shop owner, I'm like, please don't apologize. Buy all the coffee.
Keep coming. Come 3 times a day. That's
fine.
Yeah. So we've seen some spillover. We definitely have seen a lot of new customers, and a lot of people are like, I haven't heard of you guys. And some people have been almost like we came out of nowhere, and they're like, are you guys based in Atlanta?
Yeah.
And we're like, no, we're definitely based here. We're definitely as homegrown as it gets.
Yeah.
So it's been cool to meet new people, and we've already got consistent patterns with some customers that are coming in every day to work.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But with it being such a big space, where events are going to be a big thing that we're really going to push. You can rent a space out. We can do weekend and evening events and stuff like that. So we've already got a few things planned.
That's awesome.
So,
and it's a good place. I mean, for people listening, I think it's a good place to just go by yourself and grab a coffee, but it's also, there are lots of places to land if you have like a small meeting or something, which I think is nice.
Yeah, we've got a whole room up front where you can kind of sit and be in a meeting sort of all by yourself.
Yeah.
You can be in the middle of the action with the music, or you can go sit in a quiet corner.
I also like that you're kind of serving like kind of anybody who wants to come. I feel like your teas are good. Who does your teas?
Sachai, which is a local Birmingham company.
And I mean, I had one, it was like afternoon. It's too late for coffee for me, sadly. But it was delicious. And you're doing like a Ladybird Outpost, is that right?
Ladybird tacos.
Okay, yeah.
And then we mentioned Bandit is providing our pastries.
And Whole Bean you can pick up while you're there. Yeah,
we've got bags and retail stuff for sale. We're roasting it right there in, like, I think we talked about that, roasting it in the building so you can see it all happening. And
I haven't had your decaf yet, but I was looking
good.
At Google reviews, and several of them are like, they actually pay attention to
You
decaf.
Won't know the difference. Like, it's not like some decaf, you're like, that's decaf. But, but it's you won't know the difference.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of roasters don't pay attention to it because they're just thinking it's not a huge part of what they do.
Right.
But, like, I love caffeine, but I can't sleep if I have it in the afternoon. So
yeah.
it is nice to be able to still have a latte or something.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, cool. I mean, it's exciting what you guys are doing, and I think hopefully people will hit you up, find the space if you haven't already, either of the spaces.
Yeah, totally.
But visit the new one and maybe plan an event there or something.
Yeah, we've got. I think there's 10 picnic tables outside, 9 or 10. Yeah. There's a stage for music, which we do plan on doing live music as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So are you ever thinking about staying open later, or will that probably be like
that'll probably be a special event thing? Yeah, we'll probably do. We've tossed around the idea of doing like a one Friday night a month music event.
Yeah.
We're gonna do one in March that's like a singer-songwriter night.
Yeah.
On a Friday night.
Cool.
So maybe that'll be like our test run to see.
Yeah.
How it goes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I think people can also kind of get the feeling for what you're doing from your Instagram, which is really good. Like, are you
that's
shooting
Matthew.
that? It's Matthew too. Okay, good job, Matthew.
Yeah, that's Matthew.
But I feel like, like when I was at a coffee shop, I was doing that part, which I was not great at, but it's just somebody has to do it.
Fun.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like you guys are producing really high quality stuff there.
Thank you.
So
I'll pass that along.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a nice first entry point for somebody who's like, I want to try this, but I want to see kind of like what vibe am I walking into kind of.
Yeah, totally. And we can, as far as people like, I mean, it's an event space, so we've got people that are going to rent it out to just use it as a building.
Yeah.
They want to kind of get dinner catered or something like that. That's totally fine. We have the barista bar, so you can rent the barista bar for your event. We can have a full menu. There's lots of options too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it is a pretty adaptable space, I think, for that. So.
Yep.
Well, cool. Well, thank you for coming and telling us your story.
Yes, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to Bert for coming on today. I always love talking about coffee. I love to hear from other coffee shop owners. And I really hope what he said today is helpful to anybody who's running a small business or looking to start one. Before we go today, I wanted to share a new exciting thing we have going on at the Localist, and that is Localist Lab, which is a live event that we're going to bring you once a month. So at these events, we're going to have some of our marketing experts and digital experts from Infomedia and our sister companies, Uptick and Tempo. We're going to deep dive into topics that I know are important to local businesses. I know that they're important because I've heard them from you. So if you're interested in meeting other small business owners, in meeting some of the experts that I work with, and in getting some free trainings on things that honestly can be pretty confusing for local businesses, join us at the Localist Lab. Find more details and grab your free tickets in the show note to this episode, or find more at carrierollwagen.com. The Localist is written and produced by me, Carrie Rollwagen. Our team includes Hannah Cragen, our outreach manager, Taylor Davis, our showrunner, and our incredible team here at Infomedia Studios. Today, I'm in the studio with Paul Bryant. And thanks again to Infomedia for making this work possible by sponsoring the podcast. So until next time, whether you're running a small business or buying from one, remember that you're making our community stronger every day.